start moving forward on our spiritual path, we have no idea of what lies ahead. And no amount of research can prepare you because it's not about the knowing, but the experience itself. It's the only way to truly understand what sharing your soul with another human being is. And while I do believe knowing certain things can be helpful, especially when you go through ego check and our perspective begins changing to align with our soul, but I still know there's nothing that can compare to the experience of our journey and allowing it to carry you through. Following the guidance of our higher self, we're shown how to harmonize our heart and our brain, our ego and intuition, our divine feminine and divine masculine energies to our unique balance, along with a lot of other physical and spiritual dynamics of our design. So, this is just for my journey, but I think it's something we can each do by putting in our own experiences. For me, self love was the first thing that I remember being guided to give attention to. And this part I think may be true for everyone because it's the highlight of our journey, which is to build our relationships through self love, including our higher self. Because from there, you can't go wrong. This reflects in soul recognition as well, because when our soul awakens to itself in the other person, we are instantly in our divine energy, which is self love. And union will only happen through self love. And it's not a temporary attempt at it, but changing your life to this standard. That's the obvious one. Being that soul alignment is self-love. But then there are other things such as how the next thing I was guided to on my journey was meditation. And this was clearly coming through from my intuition. I kept subtly hearing meditate. Meditation helps us to be more receptive to our inner voice, and this reflects in soul recognition too, because as soon as we're gifted our divine energy at soul recognition, that opens us completely to our higher self. And this reflects in union as well. For me, I learned that self love is divine energy, it's 5D consciousness, it's unconditional love, our higher self, and being aligned with our higher self. Through my journey, I was shown the deep importance of being attuned to my higher self and that it goes beyond the surface level stuff, like how that state of mind not only opens us to our guidance, but it's part of manifesting. It's part of our creative power, which is why we begin to see more things come into light as we're moving along our path. And we gain more understanding, even of the whole dynamic that we're experiencing through our journey because we're getting info from our higher self. And of course, this isn't just about teaching us or guiding us to soul alignment. I mean, that is the main purpose. But it's also mirroring union. In union, and I'm talking about physical union with my twin flame, I will still need to be aligned with my higher self, which is my also the higher self of my twin, and they will be aligned with their higher self, our higher self. And this doesn't mean there won't be imbalances, but because you're able to maintain balance for the most part, because you worked through all of your really heavy imbalances during bridging and came to practice balancing, coming into that consistently to alignment, even. So, for the most part, balance will be pretty consistent. Then I began trusting in my divine plan. And creativity has been a big part of my journey, such as music and painting. It's been really emphasized more than ever for me. So, of course, union will involve all of that still being at play in my life. And, things like having full trust and surrendering to the divine plan for our union. And in having trust, egoic habits of the past are less likely to impede on that. But also in union, we still have our individuality because even as a shared soul, we are still our own person because each has their own physical being. So rather than giving all of your focus to your twin, there is still a focus on self. But there's a balance there in all of that between both counterparts and between your higher self. And in all of this, you maintain balance with not only your twin as your shared soul, but also you maintain balance with their individuality and yours because your physical is coming into this as well. And they reflect that back to you. And I could see this in soul recognition too. And I didn't realize it at the time, of course, but I was relaxed and calm, receptive and flowing. I was authentic, present, and so much more. Like I was just so chill in his presence. I spoke my mind with confidence, and the whole experience was just very heightened. And he was in his divine energy. He was very action oriented, protective. He did little things to show, like it was very caring, very heartwarming. But after I learned what it was that I was experiencing and looking back, I could see that the divine energy was very evident in the both of us at soul recognition. And of course, trust, security, confidence, heart centeredness, all of the divine energy traits are going to be present in union. But it's not like we will be in all of that constantly, but it will balance with both of our physical experiences as needed. So it'll be that balance of the spiritual and physical, not more proof of physical and spiritual union. And some might argue that that's not proof, but it is to me because that came from my higher self. And something I've seen in all of the different aspects of physical and spiritual coming to balance in my journey is that it's all one. And it's bringing my twin into that physically and spiritually as well because he mirrors me. And that's really incredible. So we can take all of the things we've learned from our soul recognition and our journey and apply that to union. But there, or how union will be, like you don't have to force it. It's gonna be, if as you go through your journey, this is how it's gonna be. But there are also things like knowing your soul was with you in soul recognition and has been with you through all of your experience, guiding you, loving you, and this is your twin as well. They've been there through all of your journey and were there with you at soul recognition and always will be with you through your shared soul. And they serve as guidance for you at times, which you've done for them as well, and loving you as you love them. I remember something happened one day fairly early in my journey, and I was still going through ups and downs emotionally. So I was feeling bummed this particular day, feeling like I couldn't keep hoping for him. And a song that had been repeating over the past few days came on, and I felt my inner being telling me to listen. And it was Try by Pink, and she sings, "Where there is desire, there's going to be a flame." And the way I took the song was to keep trying. And after I thought about it, I spoke to myself and I said, "He is my desire and my motivation." And as I spoke, I felt my words amp me up. And I said, "He's my inspiration. He is my flame." Then there was this pause, and I'll never forget this. I heard my higher self speak to me, "And you're his." And ever since then, I've held strong to the belief that what he is to me, I am to him. So maybe something like forgiveness was very evident in your journey, something you experienced. So in union, we have open hearts, we're healed. And all of the things that bring us to our unique balance, these are all part of our union and may be identified if we look at how soul recognition was for us and what we saw mirrored in our journey from that. It will be mirrored in our union. We're not judgmental. We don't make demands. We experience our divine energy, which is spiritual love. But as union, our physical individuality is balanced into that as well. That's our authenticity. It was there with soul recognition. It came through my journey, and it will be in our union.